Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story with Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. We're back today with Dorking as we play against the top of the league side, Sheffield Wednesday, the side who are never to be going back up to the Championship after a few difficult seasons in this save. If we've got time, we'll be facing the Accrington team as well. They're scrapping for their lives down in the bottom half, whereas we're kind of stuck in the middle of the road. We've got nothing to play for. We're 5 clear of 13th. Looks like we're going to reach our top half expectations, but we're also 2 points behind 11th place Bolton and now 9 points off the playoff places, which we were hoping to chase. But firstly, before we go and look at what's been going on, how the January transfer window ended, you can see again we're starting to struggle with injuries for the same players. We've gone out of the leasing.com trophy. You can see that in the notable criticisms too. I've no idea why that's there as a criticism though. The finances are looking good. Everything's going well off the pitch. On it, pretty much average as you'd expect. But before we do that, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series. I really do greatly appreciate it. If you missed any of the series so far, please click back in the eye above to catch up. If you're enjoying it and looking forward to the toughest test in the league, please put a thumbs up on the video. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe for daily FM20 content from both of my long-term stories. In the other one, we've had a bit of a rivalry recently. We played against our former side who sacked us in the head coach, so that's caused a little bit of controversy. But let's go and crack on with Dorking Wanderers. But we start with finances, and the reason for that is because despite our record stale, we've still had some problems with it. We've been deducted and put into a transfer embargo due to financial fair play, the second month that happened this season, and we've had to loan players out because of our wage to turnover ratio, despite the fact that we were bringing in loads of money for this player. So let's start on that finances screen. You've seen obviously what happened with Matt Smith. He moved on and our finances are creeping up again now. No idea why. I think it's just the sell on there. It looks like it. Profit and loss is up. That must be something to do with a transfer. So let's go and have a look and remind ourselves. In terms of transfer history out, Matt Smith was the man. 1.3 million to Middlesbrough, rising to 1.5, and he's playing in their first team. You've got to give him that. 2 starts, 2 sub appearances in a month. We certainly can't complain about him getting to do that. But in terms of loans, we've had to then loan out Manny Cook as well. We didn't really want to. We'd have liked to have had him in the squad, but he's back to Yeovil. I think he's been there once before. Or was he the one that he was going to join at the start of the season? I think it might have been that. So Manny Cook's gone there. 900 quid a week being paid by Yeovil. That's just ticked us back over out of the transfer embargo. So that does restrict us in improving the squad, and it did throughout January too. I mean, it happened pretty much straight afterwards. We weren't able to get anyone else in. What I can't work out is between January and February, how did we manage to get into that? Because no player signed new contracts. Matt Smith left the club and then Manny Cook did too. I don't think we bought anyone back from loan. So how on earth, with just Aitchison joining, did we manage that? He's barely earning anything, 200 quid a week. I can't quite work it out. It's a little bit of a puzzling one for me. Did we bring anyone else in? Anyone else get new deals? I'm just trying to see where it's come from. I just can't see why we've ended up with this problem. But either way, we did have it. We had to loan out Manny Cook, and despite not signing anyone in January, unfortunately we did still have wage problems. Maybe the turnover went down, I don't know. Something else might have happened in the meantime. But as it is, we've managed to sort that now. We're back on an even keel, and we're up in 12th place in the league, doing pretty much averagely. I know it's probably the slower build at League 1 level. This is often the stage you get stuck with smaller clubs. Last year with Torquay, we had a much bigger team, a side that we used to play in League 2 and the National League. But this one never really been at this level before, never even been at National League level in real life. So of course, as a relatively new club, they haven't built that reputation. I'd perhaps liken it to a Fleetwood maybe, or the reborn Wimbledon AFC, because they're the two teams that I guess have come up really quickly from the lower leagues and then got stuck at sort of League 1 level. Perhaps this is another example of that. But we just can't improve the wage bill. We can't get players in on the big money. So as a result, we just sort of get stuck in this mid-table. Little bit of hope chasing the playoffs, little bit of a threat worrying about the bottom half. But now we're back at mid-table again, and it looks like it's going to be another average season. But let's go and have a look at the results. Of course, we didn't get any signings in. That was the biggest disappointment. And we have become draws galore specialists here. So since you were last with me, against Nottingham Forest for that cup tie and Charlton at the start of the month, of course, we've had loads of draws. Pretty much every game, even the ones in a cup have been that. So we started with a win against MK Dons, 4-0 in that one. Brilliant result. John King and Dalton with a brace apiece. I thought finally we're back to goal scoring form. You can see that dried up pretty quickly. So a 0-0 draw against Palace under 23s, though we did win the shootout in the leasing.com trophy. Then a 1-1 draw at Bolton, Cole McKinnon with a late equaliser. We dominated the match. It's a shame it took us 86 minutes to score. And then another 0-0 draw in the cup. This time Tottenham beat us 9-8 on penalties. It went all the way down to the 11th man. Jonathan Mitchell, our keeper, took it. And unfortunately, he put it straight at the other keeper. Then another 0-0 draw against Southend, and another one at home to Blackpool too. Two very low crowds for that one. And then a 2-0 defeat away at High Flying Rotherham. Dylan King and Lewis Alberto were them. And then into February, 3 results so far. A 2-2 draw away at Scunthorpe. Dalton and Nolan, the wingers, with a goal apiece. 2-2 at home to AFC Wimbledon. Javier Simons with a late equaliser. And then a 1-0 win against bottom of the league Peterborough. Jack Nolan again the man in form at the moment. So the problem this season seems to be that we can't get Dalton and King in regular form. When we did that last year, we were absolutely flying. It just doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. And that has led to its own challenges as we've gone through the year. But it looks like we're back on decent form. Only 1 defeat in 6. Although I guess you could say that's only 1 win in 6 as well. But it is the most recent game against the bottom side. And hopefully that'll give us a bit of a lift. If we look at the dynamics, things are looking okay. Not perfect, but they're pretty good if we're being honest. This stage of the season, when you're missing key players, you're in that running where people keep getting tired. You'd expect it to be a little worse than that. But hopefully we'll be able to get on a good run now. We've had a high turnover of playing staff, but that's largely been for the fact that we've had to sell on big players. So Humphreys, Durnley and Smith obviously a combined 2 million in this year. The managerial support remains excellent though. And that's the one thing we've got to keep an eye on at the moment. Make sure all of our players are still behind us. But if we go and get into this Sheffield Wednesday game, we'll of course be playing with the same tactic as usual. No changes to personnel, just Matthew Smith picking up another injury. It was the one thing that probably cost us the playoffs late last year. Matthew Smith picking up knocks left, right and centre, and he started again a 2 to 3 week twisted ankle, so I'm hoping he won't have more of them during the run-in, otherwise we can kiss goodbye to our playoff hopes. But in we go, we're playing top of the league Sheffield Wednesday away, probably the toughest game we've had this season. At home we drew 2-2, we got a decent result. Mark King got an equaliser late on for us, and today Sheffield Wednesday heavy favourites as you'd expect, but they're playing in a green away strip because we're obviously playing in white as well. But 1 win for us, inconsistent form for both teams. Sheffield Wednesday with far more points on the board though. Can you really say that form's inconsistent? 10 points in 5 games, won 3 of the last 4. I'm saying that's a little bit harsh on them. But they're well clear, they're right at the top of the league. 2 points clear of second, 9 points clear of third. Charlton aside, we managed in the head coach of course. And Sheffield Wednesday look like they're going back where they belong. Nearly 25,000 through the gate of Hillsborough. We're going to have to play a couple of tired players too, just because of the number of injuries we've had. Nolan's been in great form, but Everett has to come in. In fact, do we do it? Let's just play all the injured players. All of the ones who are tired, we've got a week after this. So Ramsey, Moles, Dalton and Nolan, all of them knackered. They're all going to feature today. And our first 11 is as follows. Jonathan Mitchell in goal. Ramsey and Thomas the fullbacks. He's no longer unhappy, Thomas. Getting to play since his competition left in Matt Smith. And as a result, he's very much happy again. Aside from that, we've got Mark King and Walker at centre half. Moles, John and McKinnon in midfield 3. McKinnon coming in for Matthew Smith, of course. And then Dalton and Nolan over on the wings, both absolutely exhausted. And John King up front out of scoring form. He's really struggling in front of goal at the moment. So we're going to go and talk to him individually. It's something that worked effectively a few times earlier in the year. So we're just going to say, I've got faith in you to get back to scoring ways. Now go and do it on the pitch today. And in we go to our game against leaders Sheffield Wednesday. Can we pull off a miracle result? Okay, 4-3-3 for Sheffield Wednesday. It seems like a lot of sides are playing that against us recently. I don't know if they've found out that it works effectively. We've always struggled with it. You know, I've always been a bit worried about it on the channel. I think even back in our first series, the head coach in FM18, I'm sure we got absolutely roasted by that at Dover. Correct me if I'm wrong, was it a playoff semi or final? And we got absolutely battered. I think it was Will Swan scoring the goals back then. My memory may be bad, of course. But Sheffield Wednesday on the attack early on. They hit the woodwork with that first one. And now they got the ball back out to the left side. It seems like they're playing around us here. They're making it look really easy. Parry in the middle, time on the ball, no real pressure whatsoever. The pressing urgency's there, but we're just not getting there quick enough. Parry back to De Vigs. He's in the middle. He's got plenty of time. Finds his central midfield partner and his centre half partner, that far forward. They're playing entirely in our half. Into Campbell, who heads just wide. That's Tyrese Campbell, the Stoke man. But with 10 minutes gone, we do survive so far, though it's been all Sheffield Wednesday here at Hillsborough. Having said that, we've got a ball in with Luke Thomas. McKinnon heads down off the line. Brilliant effort. The header beat the keeper. It's headed off the line by the defender though, and eventually it's hacked away for a throw-in on our right. It looks like we've had our first good chance of the match. 15 to go to half time, and again it's Sheffield Wednesday coming forward down the right into the box. Oh, he can't score from there. It's a good save by Mitchell in the end, but that was a little bit concerning. A weak header from outside the box. It nearly beat Mitchell into the corner, and his long kick finds John King at the other end. Now can we put that to bed with a brilliant attack here? But the counter's been slowed. It's just a bit methodical, not quite getting it forward quick enough, and John's switch ball isn't good enough. McKinnon recycles it back to Luke Thomas. Here's Niall John again. The roaming playmaker, he barely leaves that position. superstition. No idea what he thinks his role is, but he's certainly not performing the roaming part. Back to Moles again, out to Dalton. The right back's there in Ramsey. We keep the ball well. We've seen this many times this season, but can we get that killer instinct? John out to the left, Nolan in. John King's there. Oh, it's offside. I was about to say it worked again. A brilliant attempt from John King. A lovely half volley into the corner. And we were about to say that the individual talk worked, but on this case he was offside, and with 5 to the break it wasn't to be. Moles out to the right to Dalton though. It does seem to have given us a lease of life. We've had our first shot on target and now we're going for it again. Ramsey on the right. He's got Moles inside him. Moles cutting inside to McKinnon. Plenty of time here. He's got a man over. Finds the Nolan on the left into John King. That time it couldn't work either. This time he was onside, but it was a brilliant save by the keeper, and it's out for a corner kick to Dorking Wanderers. Sheffield Wednesday on the defensive here as Noel John's going to put it in to the back post. Who's there? Only Ward, the defender for Sheffield Wednesday. McKinnon recycles it. He's on the right. Side tackle out for a throw in, and the sparsely populated Hillsborough struggling, but we're looking like we're getting on top here. 0-0 then, pretty even game, and after a slow start we've done really well against the leaders here, so we're going to say we're pleased with the lads. Get into the second half. Let's see if we can get a result out of it. But 5 minutes gone, there's no action so far, so hopefully we'll be back with a highlight in a minute. Luke Thomas on the left hand side, dangerous position into Moles. It's in eventually. How on earth did that happen? It's an own goal it's gone down as. Hit the man on the line. It looked like it hit the crossbar from Moles. McKinnon tried to put it in. Maybe it hit Hurst on the way in, or Hurst tried to make the challenge and is just the unlucky man. With 10 gone in the second half, we lead away at the leaders. Here's Ward though, straight back at us. Ramsey does really well to intercept. Mitchell clears long downfield, and Parry picks it up for Jones in the middle. I'm still waiting to take a sip of this drink. It's been in my hand for 5 minutes, but it's gone crazy at the start of the second half. Here's Tyrese Campbell. What an effort that is. Just wide of the post. Mitchell was scrambling. He wasn't confident that was going wide, but in the end he just gets to take a goal kick. Out to the left to Jack Nolan. Plenty of time. Goes back to Luke Thomas, the left back. Got 2 overlapping him inside to Moles. He's been the man who's creating so far, and it's a lovely switch of play out to Dalton again. Beats his man. He's been the poorest attacking player so far. Chance to deliver. That's a good ball though. John King beats his man at the front post, and this time it has worked. The talk before the game about scoring a goal, and he's there at the front post. Killer instinct with the header. 2-0 we lead away at Sheffield Wednesday. We're knocking them off the top. Barnsley winning their game. We should be moving up to 11th above Bolton, and now we're back to within 8 of the playoffs, and we can start to get excited about a late charge. Just over 10 to go. I was about to make changes, but we're back with a highlight. You know my superstition. Dalton nicks it from a poor goal kick though. Can he beat his man? He's absolutely knackered. Tries to switch inside. McKinnon brings it down really well. It's lovely composed play from the lads. They're really doing their best here. And Dalton's got it on the right again. Back to Moles. Inside to John. He's been controlling it second period. Back to Moles again. Now Ramsey on a booking. We don't want to lose it there. But Dalton's keeping it nicely. And this is where the tactic works. On those days we are clinical. We go 1 or 2 up. Then we can dominate matches like this. Nolan on the left wing beats his man. Crosses block back to Luke Thomas. Even he looks really confident today, rating in the 7s, and Nolan picks it up for McKinnon again. What a lovely bit of passing football this is. John and Moles in the middle. Oh, it's brilliant. We're just absolutely playing with them. We're playing with the leaders, Sheffield Wednesday. We're making it look easy. Dalton at the byline again into Nolan. It's 3-0. Let's go and make the changes. Give these lads a rest. Stefan Moles the first. He's going to be replaced by Simons. But it's 3-0 here at Hillsborough. Who saw this coming at the start of the match here? And then the 2 wingers will be replaced as well. It'll be Tom Cook on the right. On the left hand side it'll be Everett. And with 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go, surely we can celebrate victory. It's 3-0 here to Dorking Wanderers, and we've really made the leaders pay for their poor performance. Just 2 minutes later, we've got another attacking throw here. On the left is Luke Thomas, who takes it to King. Barely put a foot wrong, the left back today. Back to McKinnon, now Noel John again. Inside to Simons, the sub. He's replaced Moles, he's got the through ball. Everett's in. Brilliant save by Wildsmith. It should have been 4. How many chances have we had today? I know we've had less overall than Sheffield Wednesday, but as many on target and 3 clear-cut chances. Tom Cook in, is headed away yet again, and Parry eventually just hacks it for a throw. A 3-0 victory, a brilliant statement. Within 8 points of the playoffs, as we mentioned, and we can start to chase it with 10 games remaining. It could yet be a grandstand finish. As the full-time whistle goes, we win 3-0 at Hillsborough, and that is just about the best performance of the season. 6 saves from Jonathan Mitchell, a brilliant result which we'll praise the lads for, and they all look delighted, and rightly so. We've really proven just how good we can be there. so we can confirm some good results for us. Up in the playoff places, I know Portsmouth won, but they beat Shrewsbury, which closed the gap there. Doncaster did win. Rotherham lost in 9th place. Lincoln in 10th lost as well. Bolton, though, behind us because they lost to who were bottom Peterborough United. They managed to jump up to 22nd place, a team that we managed to beat last week, of course. And it looks like we got some confidence building there. Dorking Wanderers up to 11th place. And crucially, that 5-point gap to 13th now. We've got to make sure we stay in the top half. We don't want to risk losing our job here. A couple of cup runs too, so we should be given a little bit of leeway. But I'd love to go and challenge for the playoffs late on. And realistically, it's only that last spot remaining. The rest of them seem to be pretty much wrapped up here. John King ends his goal drought. Sheffield Wednesday lose top spot. That's what they're focusing on there. Barnsley went and won away from home, so they regain top spot in League One. And of course, Sheffield Wednesday still well clear in second. But for us, this is a really good performance. John King got his goal, Callum Dalton 2 assists. And when they're both on form, we look fantastic. It just doesn't happen often enough. So Dalton jaded, but we're going to go and praise him. Brilliant with the quality of chances created. And in terms of the schedule, we've got a week off now, so we'll try and give them a few day break from training. But for us, we've got to go for a big run to the end of the season. We're playing a lot of those sides up in the top 12. So some of those you can see, Shrewsbury there who are 7th, Lincoln who are up in the top half, Ipswich chasing, Portsmouth in 6th at present, Barnsley right up there in 2nd place too. There's so many of these games that are going to be crucial, and we can't afford to slip up on the banana skins either. Of course, as well as that, we've got our youth intake round the corner, and as with Dorking Wanderers always, do we need to get excited? Of course we don't. Don't expect much from this youth intake. We've got to start working on those facilities soon. We've even got a bit of money in the bank now, so we could think about it, but it's all going to depend on our finish to the season. If we get in the playoffs, it could well be a good sign for the future. But otherwise, a pretty decent season so far. We are now back in the top half as expected. That injury to Smith is a bit of a concern, but if we can get him back for the run-in, we'll be very happy. Things are looking good and we will go through the run-in now. If it's looking like we're catching up, we will play those 2 big games on camera in the middle. Shrewsbury at home, Barnsley away. Portsmouth away is a massive one too. So we'll just have a look at the playoff picture halfway. Probably 2 more episodes to come from this season. If it does look like we're falling away or we do have a bad run in March, I'll probably just leave it to the end of the season, to be honest. I don't want to put out more episodes than there needs to be, particularly if it's a case where we're not got anything exciting to show. So it's only if we still got an outside chance, in which case I'll show you a bit more of the action. But if you did enjoy this episode and that wonderful performance away at the league leaders, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It makes such a difference and I do really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you think we can sneak in the playoffs. I think we're probably just a bit too inconsistent, maybe a little bit too far behind as well. But of course, let's not rule it out just yet. There's plenty of chances for teams to slip up around us. If we beat the teams we're playing, we could be up there too. We've got so many of those big boys coming up. We've got so many of the mid-table teams, Crawley in 13th, Lincoln 10th, Oxford 14th. None of the real stragglers at the bottom of the league, but maybe some of those mid-table teams will have nothing to play for. It could work both ways yet, we're not going to lie about it. So come and join me next time to see if that's the case. Hopefully we'll still be in with a sniff. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from my 2 long-term stories. We're coming towards the end of the season at Salford City in the head coach as well. We weren't expecting to be there at the start of this year. We of course had our sacking from Charlton Athletic, and we're now trying to rebuild ahead of an inevitable relegation. But can we sneak and pull off a great escape? Then as we mentioned, this one will be back in 2 days' time with what will hopefully be a late playoff chase, so fingers crossed we'll still be involved at that point. And then finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews. You can see the link to the matchday vlogs playlist in the eye above. We've also got a couple of other new series about as well. A light-hearted one in You Are The Ref, which is quite interactive if you want to get involved. And then a more serious discussion about injuries in amateur football and how they've affected all 3 of us, as we've all suffered from long-term injuries in the past. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a massive 2 games in the run-in as we try to secure a playoff spot with Dorking, or at least get the teams worried above us.